Hey there, my name's Ed Thorne. I'm a drummer, mix engineer, and mastering engineer. And today I want to talk to you about 3 plugins that make mastering your own music really quick and easy. The first one is Logic's Mastering Assistant, which is free with Logic version 10.8.1. The next one is Ozone 11, which I'm sure you've all heard of, but it's quite expensive at $399. And the third one is a plugin called Masterplan, which comes from Music Hack, currently priced $89. On sale, I think usually at about $179. Let's dive in because they have pros and cons to all of them, but there's one that I think definitely stands out above the rest as sounding rather special. So here we are in Logic. We'll have a quick listen to the mix that I've done. This is another love song from James Dupre. If you entered the Produce Like a Pro Rate My Mix competition, You'll know this song and you'll be sick to death of it, I'm sorry. But it's a pretty decent mix and I think it was a good track to demonstrate these plugins in action. So let's listen to a clip of the mix that I've done without any master processing.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No, I don't need another.
So I think it's a pretty good mix. It's pretty tight, it's pretty punchy, there's an even frequency response, but there's a few things we could do with mastering to help refine this, increase the output level, and develop some of the details. Logic's Mastering Assistant plugin sits on the stereo output. It looks like it's a plugin, but annoyingly we can't drag it and drop it onto any other channels. I wish Logic would update that because it could potentially be quite useful to have on different channels. We're going to analyze the music and Logic is going to come up with its suggested EQ and we're going to run through some options on that. Then we're going to play around with the dynamics section and some stereo width, and then we're going to be able to listen to A/B's level matched and hear exactly what the processing is doing. So Logic has decided that this is a corrective EQ to correct this mix to get it to whatever standard Logic has decided is the right standard for mastering. Now, we can't tweak this like we can in Ozone to any specific genres, which is a bit of a shame. And I don't really know what this is EQing to. Is it pink noise or white noise? Or is it some kind of AI designated average of every song ever released? We don't know, but it's doing something. Let's see if we agree with it or not.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another.
So it's adding a little bit in the top end. It's clearing up some of the mid-range a little bit. I'm not sure I want that much processing on this though, because I was happy with where I left the mix. Let's go down to about 50% correction.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song.
I think 50%'s there, 100%'s a little bit too bright. Let's play with the loudness, because with all of these masters, I want to hit -9 LUFS. -9 is a good number for this kind of rock country style. We're not going as loud as -6.5 like some people might do for hip-hop and R&B, and that I think that's going to be excessive. We're going to end up crushing the mix. But -9 is a good competitive volume whilst hopefully maintaining the dynamics. So we're going to look at this short-term LUFS number here, and we're going to try and get that to consistently hit -9.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs.
So there or thereabouts, we're adding about half a decibel in loudness. What this is doing is pushing into a limiter, and we're coming out with a true peak of -1 dBFS. Now, this is interesting that this is fixed. If you run a limiter at 0 dB full scale dBFS, you're likely to end up with plus 0.2 or 0.3 dBs of clipping. Something always just gets through the limiter. So for safety, Logic has decided, right, a full decibel gives everyone headroom. What I do when I'm mastering using my FabFilter L2 plugin is set the true peak to -0.6. and that covers me in most situations. I never go over that really, but -1 is kind of a foolproof number, and then when we send that to streaming services, there's no chance of that clipping at any point. Let's try the Excite button. What this is doing is adding some harmonics, which will increase the perceived loudness of the upper mid-range and add some harmonic content.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't.
I'm liking that, so I'm going to leave it in. Let's try and add some stereo width. Now, what a lot of stereo width plugins are doing is increasing the content in the sides as opposed to the middle. This is mid-side processing. But what it can do if you use too much of it is phase shift, cause phase cancelling, and it can also make the center channel dip or appear like it's dipping in level because you're raising the levels of the sides. And if you go too far, you'll get weird phase shifting. So if we go fully to the left, it will be mono, and then I'll take it all the way around and you can hear the effect for yourself.
Love song, too many love songs don't
So
come
mono.
true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't.
So at that point, you can hear how the center channel sounds quite distant. Things are starting to sound a bit strange. We've overdone it.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another.
So I want a little bit more width in the track, and I feel that what this is doing by giving the perception that the middle channel is just dropping a little bit, it's quite a forward-sounding vocal. It's a rock country song genre specifically. That's a very vocal forward genre. But I feel like the mix is maybe slightly too vocal forward. So this is actually helping alleviate that by just tucking in the middle slightly, by boosting out the sides to give the perception that the middle is going in a little bit. Let's A-B.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't.
So I think that's definitely doing something to clear up the mix, control some of the low-mid frequencies that are a little bit prominent that I did have a little bit too much of in the mix. The only other thing to check is the character settings, because this can change the mix as well.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs don't come true.
I think where we were with Transparent is the right one, but the punchy one was interesting as well. What we can also do with this is customize the EQ by moving around these cue points, changing the frequencies and the gain. But what we can't do is change the cue point or the width of the bell, which is a bit limiting. And we've only got one cue point that we can move and then a high shelf and a low shelf. So it's a little bit limiting in terms of customizing it. But for most people, this is a very quick, fast way of taking a mix and a production and elevating it and getting it to a competitive volume quickly. Let me know what you think of this in the comments, but let's move on to Ozone, where we have a lot more options to play with. So Ozone 11 is going to analyze our audio, decide what genre we're in, and create a whole host of processing plugins within the plugin that it thinks are correct to enhance your music as much as possible. Okay, so it has decided that we are mixing a pop track. Now, I've done this off air before and it came up with a rock track, which I disagreed with because I was happy with the EQ, but it made a suggestion for the rock style. And then I moved it to country because it's more of a country song and the EQ is pretty much flat. So let's have a look where it is on a pop reference. Okay, so for a pop mix, the EQ's flat in the mid-range and the low mids, but it's telling me we need 1.6 decibels at 43 hertz, a big low shelf, and a high shelf at nearly 18 kilohertz at 1.2 decibels. Now, this seems to be the default standard Ozone 11 reaction. Every mix I've done and everyone I speak to tells me they get the top and tail, low and mid shelves with Ozone 11. So I think that just seems to be either a default thing or the way the algorithm is measuring the tracks. So the EQ is telling us that we don't really need to do much to this mix, which is great. Impact is creating some dynamics at different frequency ranges, kind of like a multi-band dynamic processor. Imager is giving us some stereo width options in the different bands. So for example, it's telling me I need to add some stereo width in this band here, which we can solo. And it's actually telling me to reduce the stereo width here, which I'm going to disagree with just on principle. I want a nice big wide track, and it's telling me to add a little bit of stereo width in the top range as well. Now, the amount dial here is quite important. Something I will do in a mix session. I actually do use this in a mix session, and I will automate the width to be 50% as it's recommended here. And then in the choruses, when I want things really wide, I'll take that to 100%. Let's play around with the stereo width now, though.
Song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another.
So I think where it was good. Bear in mind that's 50% of the enhancement, not the overall. It's not collapsing it to mono if I put it to 0, or phasing if we go too far wide, but 50% is a decent amount there. The next module we have is clarity. So Ozone's giving us all these modules that it thinks is delivering what the track needs in terms of specific processing requirements. What clarity is doing is playing around with some top end and giving us more perceived clarity in the mix. But you have to customize this because it sometimes does a little bit too much.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need.
I think about theirs right for this track. Let's listen to the delta, which is the difference between the original track and the added processing.
The world don't need another love.
Let's go to the stabilizer. This is, again, kind of a dynamic EQ curve, just helping us balance the track equalization-wise when needed.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another.
Now you can hear that kind of moving around. It's almost as if the guitars are swirling a little bit, so I don't want to overdo that, but that is reacting to the dynamics within the track and smoothing those out where it feels necessary. I use these two modules, clarity and stabilizer, with caution. Dynamic EQ is the dynamic EQ, and this is where a delta is our best friend. I know for a fact it's gone in at 222 hertz, which is going to be where the smack and punch of the snare drum is, maybe a couple of vocal presence frequencies.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song.
So with the delta, what we're listening to is what the processing is doing, and as you can hear, that's all snare drum and vocals, so that's just tucking them back in the mix where needed. Then we get to the maximizer section, and this is suggested a gain of 6.8 decibels, which I think is quite a lot. We're also hitting an LUF of minus 8.5 here, so I want to back that off a little bit. You'll also notice, and the keen-eyed amongst you will have seen this meter going red here. And this meter is red at plus 0.3. If you remember in the Logic Assistant plugin, it was setting a true peak level at -1. This was so that we couldn't clip the signal. Despite the limiting that's going on with the maximizer, some signal is still going through and it's coming in at 0.3. So I need to set this output level here to -1 to match the other plugin.
Love song, too many love songs don't come.
And immediately you'll see we're coming in at -0.6, so we have headroom for clipping. In this module, we've got upward compression, which, as well as the peaks getting controlled, we've got the low points getting pushed up as well by 2.2 dBs. And there's a soft clipping module. We can go between low clipping, medium, and heavy clipping. Now, clipping is an interesting one. It takes quite a refined ear to really hear clipping. But clipping and limiting in combination can work really well. And this is where the next plugin we're going to talk about works really well. Let's just audition this for now, though.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song.
So you can hear at high clipping, I mean, I'm pushing that. So much harmonic distortion comes into the signal. It's far too much. Medium was okay, but I really just want a little bit of low clipping. And you can see here when I had it on medium here, it was squashing the signal, so the limiter's not really doing much. And at heavy clipping, the limiter's barely doing anything. Let's keep it at low clipping and dial in that.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't.
So let's gain match and then bypass and A-B the two signals. The dry mix and what Ozone has decided is the best processing for this track.
Love too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song. Too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song. Too many.
So the processing is cleaning up the mix. It's adding a bit of punch with the impact module. It's adding some clarity with clarity. It's removing some harsh, particularly punchy frequencies with the snare and the vocals. And the maximizer is elevating the volume, and we were hitting -9 LUFS. Let's check that.
Love song. Too many love songs don't come true.
Short term -9 as a peak, so I'm happy with how that's sounding. Let's move on to the next plugin, which has a very interesting clipper limiting combination algorithm. So the last plugin in the video is Masterplan from Music Hack. On what the surface, it looks like a very simple plugin, but there's a lot going under the hood here, and there's quite a complicated algorithm that's doing a lot of the decision making for us to make the mastering process very simple. The first thing to note is the big, loud dial in the middle. That is our combination clipper and limiting dial. This is obviously going to boost the level, and anything below 4 decibels of clipping and limiting, there is no harmonic distortion added to the signal, which is good because I wanted about 3 decibels of limiting on this to get us to -9 LUFS. At the bottom, we have our LUFS integrated, our short-term LUFS, peak dBFS full scale measurement. Then we have our crest, which is the difference in dynamic range between the LUFS and our peak level. The larger the number this is, the better, basically. So again, the first thing I want to do that I've learned from mastering is to get the LUFS up to the level that we want, and then work on all the processing afterwards and adjust the level as needed.
Love song. Too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song. Too many love songs don't come true.
All right, so about 5 decibels, but I've got a feeling once we've done some processing, we're going to end up bringing that back. So first of all, we've got the low dial. These are just low and high EQ shelves. I want a little bit of this low end taken out of this mix, actually. It's a bit overbearing.
Love song. Too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song. Too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song. Too many.
Just a tiny bit of top end, but I have a feeling once we play with some of the processing, we may back that off as well. Let's just go to Unity. This is level matching the before and after, and have a listen with the processing bypassed.
Love song. Too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't.
I think we're in a good place there. So thick is an additional saturation circuit.
Love song. Too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song. Too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another.
So for me, that's adding quite a bit of weight, particularly in the low end, but I want to be cautious with that. I have taken a little bit of it back, but I would say the volume and the weight of it are slightly different things. So I'm going to leave that at about 5%. Feels like a good number for me. 10 was a little bit too heavy in those low mids and low end. Clean is going to help us with the muddiness. That's going to alleviate some of the low mid buildup. Again, it's working on a percentage scale. Let's audition that.
Love song. Too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song. Too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song. Too many love songs don't come true. The world don't.
There's something in the low mids of the guitars that this is helping clear up for me. So I like that. Right, multi is basically our multi-band compression. Now it's a bit limiting in that I don't know where what the frequency ranges are. If we click on that, we have low, mid, and high. I don't know what the crossover points are, but the ultimate point of this plugin is to use your ears. So it's a musical plugin in that regard. We can rely on our eyes too easily for this kind of stuff.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs don't come true.
Now I think it's quite a controlled mix as it is. I'm going to take the mid one out and the high one out, but leave the low multi-band compressor in.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't.
And that half a decibel of low band compression is allowing the mid-range and the upper mid-range and the top end to come forward a bit. The thing with mastering is the low end takes up so much energy in a mix that just controlling that by half a dB, that might even be too much. It's enabling the rest of the energy to come forward.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song.
Smooth is just an all-round gentle compression. I feel at this point the mix is quite balanced, so I'm not sure we're going to need this.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need.
But there's a nice cohesiveness to that now, bit of glue. Let's just check the LUFS levels here.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't.
All right, we could push this a little more.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true.
Yeah, let's keep that going at about -9. Calm is basically reducing any harshness. There's a tiny bit of something in the top end, so let's play with this, but I might just take the high shelf back.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs don't come true.
So I don't feel like there's really any harshness in the mix, but there's something on the left-hand side. There's a hi-hat, or the hi-hat even, I think is a little brittle. But that at 5% alleviates that enough without jeopardizing the rest of it. We can do this as well with 2x mode on, which is double the frequencies affected. The next thing is width. And again, with stereo width plugins, we have to be careful. But this algorithm apparently works without causing any phase shifting. Let's test that.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many.
So if you notice there, with the Logic mastering assistant, when we applied the width, the middle channel was just disappearing. The middle channel's not disappearing here, but the size of the width, the width of the sides, the size of the sides is improving or increasing. Now, again, I would always use these things with caution, so I'm not going to use too much.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs don't come true.
Just going to use a little bit. Obviously, adding volume to the width is changing the mix a bit, so I don't want to add too much, but I want a little bit more side presence. Last but not least, we have this tape emulation.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs don't come true.
So in warm mode, it's obviously shelving the top end a bit, and it's making for quite a thick, dense low end. In tight mode, really tightening the bottom end, especially the kick drum, a little bit too much for my liking. I'm actually going to leave this off, I think.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs.
Now, if I was mixing a John Mayer track, oh my God, that would be the dream. I would probably use something like this because I think I'd want that warmth, but I want quite a modern production here, so I'm going to leave that as it is. All right, so the crest we've got going on is 9.7. I think that's a pretty good dynamic range. We've also got these translation checkers on the side here. We can dim the signal, mono, which is going to mono the signal, so we can check the mono compatibility of the mix.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't.
So we've got the guitars coming through, but a lot of the side information, particularly the slide guitar, is disappearing. Now, I'm not too worried about that because the primary sources of audio information in there, the drums, the bass, the vocals, and most of the guitars are in there, so this will translate pretty well to most systems. We've also got a band pass section, which is basically an EQ like that, probably going from about 200 to about 8 to 10K as far as I can tell.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true.
And we can test that with an EQ plugin. So this is going to give us an analyzer of what we're listening to.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many.
And yeah, between 200 and even 6K. So it's quite a middle past that. That's quite useful to just check the mid-range of the mix and not be relying on the low end and the top end for stereo information. And we can check this against a phone. Music Hack have obviously measured smartphones and how music sounds on speakers and come up with this as a translation checker.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true.
Now, things like this are useful because if you listen on a phone, and I think I put laptop speakers in a similar category as mobile phone speakers in terms of quality. If you don't have content in your bass guitar and kick drum at 200 hertz, you just don't hear them on phones and laptops. Alternatively, if you have too much information about 200 hertz on a snare drum, you get that thwack sound that just sounds awful and can blow out little speakers. It can overload the speakers and just sounds awful. So this is quite a good translation checker. I think this mix is working pretty well. I can hear everything nicely. We then obviously have an N10. I'm going to assume that is an NS10 speaker, which is, I guess, will be similar to the band pass, the mid-range band pass sound.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song.
And the rule in audio is if something sounds good on NS10s, it probably is good. So nice little feature to have that we can check various different translation devices, which is very important for mastering. It's nice to have that in the plugin rather than having to listen on your phone, different systems, etc. So are we hitting -9 still?
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song.
I think I just want a little bit less top end. I will check these on my speakers as well, and then we'll audition all three. Now, what I'll need to do for Logic Mastering Assistance, because that's on the stereo output, so we can get an ABC comparison, I'll need to bounce this with that engaged, load it back into the session, so I'm not having to turn that off and create gaps between the AB. So I've imported the Logic Mastering Assistant print onto this track here, so that I don't have to turn the Mastering Assistant on and off in between auditioning Ozone 11 and Masterplan, so we have an immediate ABC comparison. You'll notice that it looks like the gain is way higher. That's because the processing has been applied to the audio. Whereas with these files, the processing is happening in the plugins after. They should all still be a -9 or a -9.5 LUFS level. And to check this, let's pull up Insight from Isotope. And that is going to let us know if we're in the ballpark. So they're all about -9.5. Let's A/B them and let me know in the comments which one you think sounds best. I think I've got an idea which one I prefer.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another
So the Logic Assistant is sounding a bit harsh to me. There's too much top-end information in there. Yes, I can go back into it, but those were pretty much the default settings. And if you remember, I backed off the EQ. So all the top-end it was adding was clearly too much. So at default settings, it would have been very, very bright. Ozone, I think, is a very thick and forward-sounding mix. I dare say it's getting a little crushed, a little saturated. But I think Master Plan is very clean. I think that's coming up with the cleanest master here. Now, what you have to understand, this is not a comparison of the sound of the plugins in terms of, I've not tried to match them. That is impossible. I can't go through all, because I don't have the same settings. So for those people thinking, oh, you need to match them in Plugin Doctor, that's just not possible. What I've done here, as you've seen with the Logic Mastering Assistant and Ozone, is let it do its default AI thing. And then with Master Plan, I've tailored it to my ears. I feel like Master Plan is the cleanest. I think Ozone is very wide. It's very low, mid, forward. It's a little bit out of control. But Master Plan, I feel like, is delivering just the cleanest master. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't need another love song, and I don't need another. No, I don't need another. No love song, too many love songs don't come true. The world don't.
So they have the free mastering assistant from Logic, which I think is a bit too limited in its controls, but simple enough for most people to get their head around and get a result of some kind, although I did feel it was a little bit bright. Ozone is a lot more complicated to use. Well, it does it for you, but there's a lot more parameters that you've got to get your head around and understand fully. But the delta function is very useful. I feel like Master Plan has the cleanest clipping and limiting setting, but I wish there was a delta function on it. It would be quite nice to have some visual elements as well, but then the beauty of not having those is you have to use your ears, which in mastering I think is key. It's very easy to follow your eyes with mixing and mastering. Out of those three, I liked what Ozone was doing in terms of width. I think it was adding too much harmonic saturation though. The low end was a little bit out of control. And Master Plan just sounded like the most polished and processed. Ozone's $400. Master Plan is $89. I think that's a no-brainer. Master Plan is the one for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I've been Ed Thorne. It's been emotional. Thanks for watching.